The U.S. has imposed new sanctions on the state-run oil company there. Listen to what Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin had to say about that. Roll tape.
If Venezuela wants to continue to sell us oil, which we'd like to buy, that money will go into blocked accounts and will be protected for the people of Venezuela. We'll always look at additional sanctions. We want to make sure that things like medicine and other humanitarian issues continue to go to the people.
All right, let's bring in John Hofmeister, former president of Shell Oil. John, is this going to affect us in America? If we're not taking Venezuelan oil, does the price of gas and the price of oil start to go up?
Not immediately, Stuart, not in my opinion. I think that there may be a workable plan that Secretary Mnuchin is putting forward. If the money doesn't go to Maduro, there's no reason we can't continue to receive shipments of oil from Venezuela unless he stops them. If he stops them, then he has no revenue coming in for the rest of PDVSA to do what it needs to do. So he is compounding his own problem. So I think it'll be confusing for a while, but I don't think there's going to be an immediate impact on gasoline prices.
The Russians have a big investment in PDVSA, I believe, and a big investment in Venezuela. Is that correct?
Yes, and as do the Chinese. And I think the support for Maduro from the Russians and the Chinese has a whole lot more to do with the billions and billions of dollars they have at risk. A new government could come in and cancel the loans and just take the consequences of whatever that might mean. Maduro, at least there's a chance of repayment, although it's a very slim chance at best, because they've spent the money and they still don't have more oil. So I don't know what they do. They're mortgaged to the hilt. Now, if Russia or China try to take over PDVSA, good luck. It's a state-owned company. I don't know how you take over a state-owned company. They could try to take over Citgo, but then they have to deal with U.S. law. And I'm not sure how easy that will be for the Russians or the Chinese.
Sounds to me like America is in a winning position at this point, but...
I think so. The strategy of putting Maduro on the defensive like this is clearly a strategy that's working.
Okay, I've got a bone to pick with you. You say that America is not as oil independent as economists say we are. All right, you got a minute to make your case.
Not all molecules are created equal, Stuart. In other words, the natural gas liquids molecules and the LNG molecules that people are talking about creating energy independence doesn't mean a thing to the refiners who need imported oil to keep American gas tanks filled every day. Nearly 40% of the oil that goes in our gas tanks every day is imported oil. That is not energy independence. It's only when we have energy independence at the gas tank level that we're truly independent from foreign oil, and we're a long way away from it.
Okay, well, I'm running out of time, so I can't go after you on this. I just like to see America rule the world in energy, and, you know, that's what I like to see. What can I say? John, we're out of time. Sorry about that, but we'll bring you back. I promise you. We'll get back into it. John Hofmeister, everyone. Thank you, sir.